So I've done a lot of Sword and Shield solo runs, and trust me, I still have plenty of those coming. Since I started doing these challenge videos, I've seen so many people do fun and really unique challenges. I saw a video by William X Swift where he took each gym leader's signature Pokemon and beat the game with it. And it got me thinking, and ultimately led me to this idea. Instead of just using their signature Pokemon, what if I copied their whole team? The best way I think I can ever possibly explain this challenge is with this singular image here. Basically, I have to take on each gym leader with their own team, and we're basically just going to be a big copycat this entire run. Of course, we're going to be playing with special rules, since the Sword and Shield gym leaders aren't the brightest per se. I tried to edit their difficulty by using my special little Hackerman tool here, but I don't think it actually did anything, and even with their difficulty set to expert, they were still a little, you know. As far as other rules go, I'm not allowed to use items in battle, of course, and I'm going to try to keep the G-maxing to a minimum. I'm sure you're wondering where I got their teams as well, and for those I pulled them off Bulbapedia and copied them to a T. Let's try and hit 502 likes on this one, and as always, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss an upload. That's really all I got, so let's go ahead and jump into the reason you're here. So, heading up our first challenge, we're going to be taking on Milo. His team, according to Bulbapedia, is going to be a Gossifleur and an Eldegoss. By the way, I hope I pronounced these right. If not, well, oh well. Both with pretty underwhelming movesets, I'm going to be honest, but what can you expect? It's Sword and Shield. Anyways, I was halfway into this battle when I decided to tweak the gym leader's AI to see if I could squeeze a little bit more of a challenge out of him. I'm not sure how well that worked, but whatever. I tried, okay? So anyways, we start the battle off with a round. Milo counters with a pitiful Magical Leaf for some reason, and I decide from here on out I'm just going to spam Magical Leaf. After like one painful minute of doing this, we take down his Gossifleur and out comes his Eldegoss, which he of course Dynamaxes. He goes for the max overgrowth and I live with 2 HP before I'm taken out next turn, and I actually go for the G-Max here. I'm not completely sure why, I'm gonna be honest, I think my one brain cell was scared and just decided to go for it, but I promise it won't happen again. Anyways, jumping forward till we're both out of G-Max, I clean up the battle with some Magical Leafs and go about my day. All in all, this battle really went about how you'd expect it to. In terms of difficulty, I'd probably have to give it about a 1 out of 5. Hopefully things ramp up from here though. Nessa's team consisted of Goldeen, Arrokuda, and Dreadnought. It wasn't anything too crazy, I'll be honest. We lead off with our Goldeens and fire off our horn attacks. I decide to switch it up and go for a Water Pulse, trying to, I don't know, think like how their AI was coded. Anyways, we finally take down her Goldeen, proving that we have the superior fish on our side, and out comes Arrokuda to clean me up. Of course, I then flush Goldeen down the drain and send out my Arrokuda, clean up with Bite, and get ready to face her ace. She nearly takes me down with a Max Geyser, to which I just keep firing off Aqua Jets until my second fish goes down, and I sent in my Angry Turtle to retaliate. I fire off a Razor Shell and beat Nessa at her own game. I'll give Nessa a few points here since she didn't spam a not very effective move in my face like someone. Milo. But I think her difficulty was still about a 2 out of 5. Our team for Kabu has us using Ninetales, Arcanine, and Centiskorch. We lead off with our Ninetales, with Flash Fire by the way, and Kabu, being the genius that he is, decides to try and spam Fire-type moves. This was, in short, a very weird interaction, but we take down his Ninetales with quick attacks and out comes Arcanine. I go for the Fire Spin to get in some chip damage and pretty much just spam moves to take it down, while it goes for things like Will-O-Wisp, activating my Flash Fire. It does get in a few crunches here and there, but man, I knew these AI were bad, but I didn't know they were like bad. Anyways, out comes Centiskorch, finally taking down my Ninetales after many turns of attempting to just Fire Lash me, I can only assume. Arcanine comes out and cleans things up though, and I'm only just now realizing I had the perfect opportunity to go into my Centiskorch and really mirror match him. For difficulty, Kabu gets a 1 out of 5 because, come on man, using Fire type moves when I've clearly got Flash Fire? What's wrong with you? B's team looks like the first challenge we'll be getting here, hopefully, and gives us a Hitmontop, Pangoro, Surfetched, and a Machamp. We lead off with our Spinny Tops, who are almost dancing in sync, but not quite, and it really bothered me, so I had to point it out so you too notice it. Anyways, she drops him with a counter, and I must say that was pretty clever. I go into Pangoro and set up a workup or two, and then take out her Hitmontop. I did that just because I really didn't want to get swept by counter. Out comes Pangoro. And since it has Mold Breaker, I started wondering if my Mold Breaker broke her Mold Breaker, and her Mold Breaker broke my Mold Breaker, or if they just kept canceling each other out in an infinite loop. So, whose mold really breaks? And so I'd like to pose that question to you. Anyways, I circle throw her Pangoro and take it out. In comes her Surfetched, which kills me off with a Revenge. I decide to be cheeky here and go for a Swords Dance, predicting the Detect and take her out with a Revenge. Her Machamp actually outsped me and annihilated me, so all that's left to do is to go into my own. I managed to survive through its awesome Gmax power and just spam Revenges till it dies, while it insists on using Scary Face on me, even though it's faster. All in all, I think B was definitely more challenging than the previous gym leaders, and for that she gets a 4 out of 5 difficulty. If she played a little smarter, she definitely could have taken me down, like specifically at the end there when she was just spamming Scary Face. I don't know what that was about, but whatever. It's a win, we take those. Opal's team so graciously gives me access to Galarian Weezing, Mawile, Togekiss, and Alchemy. We lead off with our Weezings, and I pretty much just spam Sludge through her Weezing and Togekiss. I will say this gave me a newfound respect for this thing. Being able to just spam A and do some big damages, yeah, that was pretty impressive. Of course, all that stopped when Mawile came out and took it down. Or so you'd think. But instead, after a crunch, we live with 2 HP and manage to take it out as well. But there's no way we kill Alchemy, right? Well, of course not. We do some damage with Sludge, even getting the poison, but we then go down finally. Out comes my Mawile and does some decent damage before finally going down, forcing us into Togekiss, and finally taking it down with that. With Weezing on my side, this battle was definitely a piece of cake, haha. So for that, I'm gonna have to give Miss Opal here a 2 out of 5 in terms of difficulty. If you've been with the channel a while or seen any of my other videos, you know how I feel about Gordy. We get a Barbarical, and, well, actually, that's all that matters. We go for the Shell Smash, and you can pretty much I hate myself. We go for the Shell Smash, and you can pretty much guess what happens after all of this. This was by far the easiest and fastest battle we had, lasting only 3 minutes and 20 seconds. So, yeah. Can I give Gordy negative difficulty? Like maybe a -10?
No, you can't.
What? No?
No.
Okay, fine. He gets a 1 out of 5 then, just to be fair to all the Gordy stands. Wait, he has stands? Arriving at Piers, we now actually have a pretty solid team, with Scrafty, Malamar, Skuntank, and Obstagoon. For some reason, our entire team was poisoned at the start of the first battle, so naturally I lost because he just stalled me out, but it's okay, we got round 2. I just want to point out too how Pierce just whipped out that microphone stand. Like where did it come from? Man just stays strapped. We both lead off with our Scrafties. We outspeed and get the fake out off on his Scrafty and kind of just break it to death. Now comes the stally part. I either die to counter or get obstructed. So after much stalling and chipping away, we finally take it down. I'll cut most of that to save you the torture. After I take it down, Malamar comes out and nearly takes me down with a payback. We get as much damage off on it as we can before we drop and go into our Malamar to finish the job. In comes Skuntank, and we trade blows back and forth until eventually Skuntank goes down. I'll give this one a 4 out of 5 just because it's very stally and overall just kind of a mind-numbing experience. With Raihan, we get our typical double battle with a team consisting of Flygon, Gigalith, Sandaconda, and Duraludon. My plan here is to pretty much just spam breaking swipes with Flygon while Gigalith kinda just hits everyone else. We pretty much just spam the A button until someone dies, and that's about 90% of this battle. Look, here's even some footage of me doing it. Wow, just look at me go, mashing that A button. We end up taking down Flygon and then shortly after, Gigalith. Sandaconda's a tanky little boy, but it's okay. Gigalith goes down and out comes my Sandaconda, which ends up taking down Duraludon, and finally we whittle down his Sandaconda and that goes down too. As far as difficulty goes, I think this is another Pierce situation, whereas instead of Stolly, it's just a lot of button mashing and a lot of time that goes by. So I guess it's a 4 out of 5. Finally, facing the champion Leon, we are armed with Aegislash, Cinderace, Haxorus, Seismitoad, Dragapult, and Charizard. After Leon gets himself warmed up, we get into the battle. I'm expecting a King's Shield standoff, and that's kind of what the first 2 turns are. But after I get my opening on his Blade form, he goes down to a Shadow Ball. In comes Cinderace, which absolutely annihilates me, which, to be fair, is quite expected. I counter with my own Cinderace and Pyro Ball, take it down with a quick attack, and am left with a barely alive Cinderace. I get some decent damage off on Haxorus with my Blaze boosted Pyro Ball and even end up getting the burn before I go down. I clean up with my Haxorus's Outrage, also taking out Dragapult, and dying to Seismitoad. I take down his Seismitoad with my own before dying to his G-Max Zard, and go into my Zard. I didn't want a G-Max here, but this was the only way to beat Leon, so he forced my hand. We have a legit mirror match moment where we take turns dropping giant rock walls on each other, mine actually killing him though to net us our title of the champion. And I did have to G-Max here because, as you can tell by his giant rock falling on me, I barely lived. So if I didn't G-Max, I would have died, and then I would have lost because Dragapult would have died, and yeah. I'm kind of disappointed in this run as the gym leaders were just so bad. It makes me wonder what would happen if they had better teams. I might have to make that my next video.